A notice issued by Loreto College stating the eligibility criteria for aspirants this year has stoked a massive controversy. The notice explicitly stated that students hailing from a vernacular background will not be considered for admission this year. Although the notice has been retracted by the institution, but it has in fact exposed a much bigger problem: the deep-seated mentality of the masses. The problem is not just limited to the proceedings of an admission process. It stems deeper, and it is the very mindset that drives our society. A mindset that has set English as the yardstick for acceptance. Can we call the society inclusive if it thrives on a colonial hangover and revels in anglicized double standards? Can English appropriate someone's merit? Mopia Nondi is a senior journalist from Kolkata, and she captivates her viewers by her news presentation in Bengali. Hailing from a vernacular background, English has never been a hindrance in her path to success.
লোরেটোর বিজ্ঞপ্তি অত্যন্ত আপত্তিকর, কারণ আমি কোন ভাষায় বা কোন মাধ্যমে পড়াশোনা করছি সেটা আমার অর্জিত জ্ঞান বা যোগ্যতা তার নির্ণায়ক হতে পারে না। তার ভিত্তিতে স্থির হতে পারে না যে আমি কোনো শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠানে পড়ার সুযোগ পাবো কিনা, কোনো কর্মক্ষেত্রে আমি কাজ করার সুযোগ পাবো কি পাবো না। আমি মুখে খই ফোটানো ইংরেজি বলতে পারলে সেটা আমার অ্যাডেড অ্যাডভান্টেজ, কিন্তু সেটা কখনোই আমার মেধা, অধ্যাবসায়, আমার যোগ্যতা, আমার পেশাদারিত্ব তার সঙ্গে সমার্থক হতে পারে না। আমি ম্যান্ডারিন বলতে পারি না, আমি ফ্রেঞ্চ জানি না, আমি তামিল জানি না, আমি কন্নড় জানি না, তাতে যদি আমি লজ্জা না পাই, যদি আমি হিন্দি জটায়ুর মতো করে হিন্দি বলি তাতে লজ্জা না পাই, তাহলে আমি যদি ফ্লুয়েন্ট ইংরেজি বলতে না পারি, যদি আমি জাস্ট কাজ চালাতে পারি, তাতে লজ্জা পাবো কেন? এই যে কলোনিয়াল হ্যাংওভার, যেটা থেকে আমাদের বেরোনোর সময় এসেছে, একটা শিক্ষা প্রতিষ্ঠান কিভাবে সেই কলোনিয়াল হ্যাংওভারকে প্রাতিষ্ঠানিক স্বীকৃতি দেয়? এটা ভালো যে দেরিতে হলেও বোধোদয় হয়েছে এবং ভুল স্বীকার করা হয়েছে। আমরা আশা করব এর পুনরাবৃত্তি আর কোথাওই হবে না।
Mir Afsar Ali is an eminent media personality. Many in Kolkata are enchanted by his voice. He is known for his storytelling skills in both English and in Bengali.
Many people have woken to your voice in the city. So has anyone ever questioned the Bengali accent that your diction at times may or may not entail?
No, it's actually not about the accent. It's more about whether you can convey what you want to convey in whichever language you can. Most of the time we kind of see there's a very patriarchal attitude towards people or from people who usually are very good in the Queen's language, I should say. But that doesn't mean people who come from a vernacular medium. Maybe it's not just about Bengali. They could be students who have been born and bred in, say, UP or Bihar, or maybe Assam. Their mother tongue has been Assamese and they've been here for some time, if I'm going to take a case study in Bengal. So it's not about which language you're speaking, it's about how prolific and how proficient you are in the Queen's language. That is generally what is on people's lookout. Do you speak the language well? Do you understand it well? Whether or not you have an accent is a very relative statement. There are some people who speak English very well, but there might be a regional accent to it. But that doesn't stop you from enjoying certain basic elements of life. These are our fundamental rights. I mean, the right to education, and the right to education in any particular institute that you so desire, which belongs to the purview of the boundaries of the country and follows the Constitution of India. Everyone has the basic right to education. So you cannot differentiate and create a divide. You might have a preference, but you cannot publicly proclaim that, because then that will deter a lot of people who want to go to an institute such as Loreto in this case. There might be several others where students aspire to study, and it's all on the grade and the marks and the way you've done your previous exams. So if there could be any decisive factor, it has to be, and essentially has to be, only your results. It cannot be on the fact that since you come from a vernacular medium or a Bengali medium or a Hindi medium school or institute, that you're not privileged enough to study in this organization or in this institute. That is something which is very unfair. I feel differentiation between students should only be on the basis of their merit. I mean, either a student is good enough, has got the accurate marks which are required for qualification, or has the cutting edge. These are places where competitively students should be judged. It should not be about which institute you come from, whether English has been your first priority language. That shouldn't be the case. Then you're discriminating in a major way, which will send a very discouraging signal to all students who come in from districts. In this case, say, many districts of Bengal have institutes which are government affiliated maybe, or private institutes, and they all aspire to be in an institute such as a Loreto or maybe a Xavier's. So I think discrimination should definitely be discouraged. I'm sure the institute has not meant it to be that way, even if it has been conveyed otherwise. So I'm sure there's going to be a turnaround, and students will be made to feel welcome. The most unfortunate thing is to make a student feel unwelcome. That is something which you are fundamentally using to destroy that student's faith in the system. তাহলে তো আর কোনোদিনও বাংলা মিডিয়াম বা অন্য কোনো মিডিয়ামের বাচ্চা কোনোদিন ভেবেই উঠতে পারবে না that I would go to an institute such as this, so prestigious, and it's a heritage institute, so it definitely is in the list of aspirations for many students. I think that would be very unfair if students are discouraged just because they come from a vernacular medium.
Brother, do you think somewhere on today's date, English has become the yardstick for acceptance? মানে যখন ধরো we are going to a restaurant, we usually ask for a glass of water, we don't ask a glass jol.
It's your own way of interpreting it. If I am comfortable, I would say a hello, or maybe a namaskar. It depends on what my mood is. There are many a times when I come across people and I say hi, or the person opposite me says namaskar Mirda. So I obviously reply back with a namaskar, and a proti namaskar thaga dorkar, instead of another hi. If it's hi from the other side, it's hi from my side as well. If you're talking about giving English the priority, and since I'm also speaking in English, I would say today, if you look at all the other spheres of life, particularly, I'll give you a very popular example, cinema, which is actually succeeding more at the regional level. If regional cinema had not been encouraged or been accepted, you wouldn't have had films from the South creating such an indelible mark. People are now aping the South. So whatever they do in whichever language, they are aping the South. And again, this was just an example. I would say regional cinema or regional arts and entertainment has been thriving for a long, long time. It does not depend on whether one particular sect or one particular type of people give it recognition or not. তুমি চাও বা না চাও, সূর্য একদিক থেকে উঠবে, অন্যদিকে ডুববে. There's going to be no change in that. So it does not depend on your acceptance. Art or any form of entertainment for that matter will be accepted by its audience, no matter where they are, no matter which language they speak or which language they are more prolific in. It's a way of our community or society to project our thoughts or our feelings when we are in a gathering in English, so that everyone gets the gist. If I were to go down south and I were to try conveying my thoughts and feelings in Hindi, I would perhaps be looked in a different way. And they would tell you that, okay, I don't understand Hindi. And sometimes in a very, very polite manner, I'm sorry, I don't understand Hindi. Could you just speak in English? So that's a universally accepted form, and it's only the method of easing out. I want to communicate something, hence I choose English. If I'm in a particular region where English is not a popular option, then I would perhaps try Hindi or maybe some local language. But the purpose, the sole objective is to make myself communicable. I would just like to convey my thoughts and my feelings. If I'm thirsty and I want a glass of water, and if English doesn't work, then I'll probably try the local language. It's just on that. We are the ones who make a huge hue and cry about it, where it's absolutely unnecessary, I would say. I am most comfortable in whichever language the opposite person wants me to convey my thoughts in. If the person is not comfortable understanding English, I will try and make an effort to convey my thoughts or whatever I need to convey and communicate in the language he or she chooses. But I will certainly not scorn that person for the usage or the non-usage of English in that matter. আমরা অনেক সময় দেখি বাংলা মিডিয়াম থেকে উঠে আসা বাচ্চাদের একটু হেয় করা হয়, বা অন্যান্য vernacular মিডিয়ামে যারা পড়েছে তারা উঠে এলে কথা বললে, this person doesn't know how to speak English, this person is a very ghati person, is a very dihati person. These are terms we often use very casually without understanding the unbelievable hurt and harm it may cause. So I guess what we require from every aspect of our society, and education being a prime area, is to be a little sensitive and thoughtful when we put out such messages in the public, because this could really, really damage the moral fabric of students, which is equality. I feel I'm equal.
Dada, I have one last question for you. So, we always judge students on the basis of their merit. So, do you think using something as affluence in English or someone's diction a fair means of judging a person?
No, I don't. Because then you'll have to do a lot of correctional measures. You'll have to put in a lot of correctional measures. For all those people who came in before us, they also spoke the Queen's language, and many of them weren't fluent. অনেক মনীষী রয়েছেন আমাদের বাংলার ইতিহাসে যারা ইংলিশে পড়াশোনা করেননি। তারা তখন পরাধীন ভারতবর্ষে থাকতেন, যেখানে ইংলিশকে মোস্ট সার্টেনলি প্রায়োরিটি দেওয়া হতো। And the typical Babu culture which used to come in at that point of time, it was existent, where some people who could speak the Queen's language enjoyed certain privileges. তো যারা স্বদেশী ছিলেন তারা তো এটার বিরুদ্ধেই প্রতিবাদ করতেন যে you can speak the Queen's language, but that doesn't mean you scorn your motherland. So নিজের দেশ, নিজের দেশমাতৃকাকে ছোট করে অন্য কোনো ভাষা বলে সেই লোকটা প্রিভিলেজ পাক, এমন অনেক মানুষ চাননি সেই সময়। But times have changed. Our causes and reasons for revolt, that have also changed. I think we should put our minds together to fight other social evils rather than whether a student can communicate or speak English fluently. That is not that important for me personally. Some other people may differ. But unfortunately, there is discrimination on this basis.
The notice was condemned by the student community and various sects of the educated intelligentsia for its divisive nature, and called out for the institution's haughty elitism. Forums such as Bangla Pokho vehemently protested against the move.
So as you can see, the Bangla Pokho is protesting against the notice which was released by Loreto College. Loreto College has published a notice for the aspirants this year, where and the notice explicitly states that students hailing from a vernacular background have been excluded from the merit list that has been published. Upon being questioned by the Calcutta University, the institution has released a statement, but the institution is yet to confirm the subsequent steps that it is going to take. Will the merit list be released once again? Will the students who have been eliminated based on their +2 background be considered once again? These questions are yet to be answered by Loreto College.
Ex-students of the college were tremendously disheartened and unequivocally condemned the intent of their alma mater. More so because they remember Loreto as an institution that vouches for holistic learning, a place that allows students to bask in a multifaceted cultural environment and enjoy the diversity that every language and individual entails. And this is the way they wish to remember Loreto.
So the recent statement that has been circulated has honestly been a little disheartening for me as an alumni of the institution, because I will always remember Loreto as a place that respected cultural and linguistic diversity. I will always remember our professors telling us specifically to refer to vernacular textbooks. They told us that if we are comfortable with that language, we should always refer to them as well, because they are just as good as the ones written in English. Your ability to speak a language should never be the measure of your ability to do literally anything. যাই হোক, এটা দেখে ভালো লাগছে যে people are actually speaking up against it, and the administration did acknowledge the fallacy of the statement.
I extensively give credit to Loreto for the fact that, you know, I was a part of that institution and the kind of experiences I gathered, and I genuinely believe that the professors, regardless of the departments, are an asset to the institution. A recent incident that I read in the news was how Calcutta University had to force Loreto to take down the notice that they had put up, where students belonging to vernacular backgrounds would not be given chance this time in the college. And my head immediately asked me, why would they not be given a chance? Education institutions should respect each and every individual enough to give to accept everyone for the entire process of selection.
The parents of students hailing from vernacular backgrounds are apprehensive if this is a precedent to the kind of discrimination that their children would face while opting to get into premium institutions or in other walks of life.
লরেন্টো স্কুল কলেজ ওরা যদি না নেয়, তাহলে বাংলা মিডিয়ামের ছেলেগুলো যাবে কোথায়? আমি গার্জেন হিসাবে চাইবো যে আমার ছেলে ভালো রেজাল্ট করেছে, ভালো কলেজে পড়ুক, এটা তো আমি চাইবই। ধরুন আমরা যেসব শিক্ষক, ইংরেজি শিক্ষকদের কাছে আমরা পড়েছি, তারা কোন ইংলিশ মিডিয়াম স্কুল থেকে পড়েছে? তারা যদি করতে পারে, তা বাংলা মিডিয়ামের ছেলেরা তারা কেন চান্স পাবে? এবারে আমিও তো চিন্তায় পড়ে গেলাম, কারণ আগামী বছরও কলেজে ভর্তি হবে। এবার আমার ছেলে সায়েন্স নিয়ে পড়ছে এখানে, এবার সে তো চাইবে যে আমি একটা ভালো কলেজে পড়ি, সে চাইবে। এবার সে দেখা গেল বাংলা মিডিয়াম থেকে যাচ্ছে বলে তাকে দেখা গেলো ওই কলেজ নিচ্ছে না।
বাংলা মিডিয়াম থেকে পড়াশোনা করে তারা কিন্তু এখনো র্যাঙ্ক করছে, ওখানে চাকরির ক্ষেত্রেও তারা কিন্তু প্রতিযোগিতায় রয়েছে। সেক্ষেত্রে এটা তো একটা ভুল ডিসিশন।
আমাদের ছেলেমেয়েরা ইংলিশ মিডিয়ামে পড়লেও এই জিনিসটাকে সাপোর্ট একদমই ফর অল ইংলিশ মিডিয়াম, বেঙ্গলি মিডিয়াম এন্ট্রান্সের বেসিসে চান্স দেওয়া হোক, এটাই একটা মনে হয় বেটার ওয়ে।
Rejecting is easier, but accepting is the challenge. Today I am standing in front of the Loreto College, who has rejected several students because of their academic background. When I was a student, I have faced the same rejection multiple times, so I can feel their pain. I have studied from a West Bengal board background, but I have also cleared multiple entrances and enlisted my name in different universities. Today I am talking in behalf of all those students who have faced rejection because of their accent, because of their diction, because of their English. When I went to give my interview for my job, I didn't got discriminated for my English, but I got selected for my skills and abilities. If knowledge get discriminated for language, then it's an injustice to both of them. It's an injustice to the knowledge and language. Shankar Shubhra Das, NTT, Kolkata.
Inside.